even though it's not your typical show. We're trying to do something amazing, which is a switch. Because let's be honest, CJ and Joy show on the reg is average at best.
It's fantastic.
Above average. Fine.
Okay.
Either way, we've knocked off the nonsense this week, and we're trying to heal kids. Heal kids in the name of Jesus. And it requires giving. Ooh, giving. Not exactly a fun word right now because the economy's upside down. However, just when it seems like giving is impossible, we get excited because God's like, hey, in the midst of impossible, that's where I start to get truly, truly excited. So healing kids, this is what this looks like. There's an organization with hospitals all across the world. We've teamed up with them before. They are called, brace yourself, get ready, the name is Cure International. They take kids with correctable disabilities, they heal them, they make them whole, they tell them about Jesus, they share the gospel with the families. It is a ripple effect that cannot be articulated in a short conversation. And in the midst of coronavirus, you can imagine these kids who've been on hold and they've been trying to be made whole forever. Now, it's a pandemic they have to deal with, right, Joy?
Yeah. They've been waiting their whole lives, and maybe you're just miserable waiting to get out of quarantine like me. But while we're waiting, let's end their wait. And we wouldn't ask you to do something that we didn't believe in wholeheartedly. CJ and I have seen it. We've been inside the hospital watching kids get their surgeries, and it's the most amazing Jesus-filled place ever, right?
It truly is. I want to tell you a story about a little sweet thing named Anastasia. We were in Africa. We met Anastasia. She was about 7 years old, and she had legs that went in. It's called bow legs. I know that's just like a thing to say, but at 7 years old, she's sitting inside of a hospital getting ready for a surgery because she's never run before. My kid's 5. She runs on the regular, especially away from me when it's bath time. She rides her bike. Sweet Anastasia had never done that before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, her family carried her into the hospital. We met her. We played with her. We got to know her. And before she was there, her and her family never even heard about this guy named Jesus. She's taken in. She's put under. They heal her. It's a beautiful thing. They correct her legs so she can be made whole. And when the family says, why have you done this free of charge? They say, we did it because of Jesus. And sometimes they go, who's that? Who's that? Right? Because they've never even heard of Jesus before, right? It's a great question. Yeah. And then they share Jesus with them. They pray with them. And I got to tell you, your heart would melt just like CJ's did. All the time I couldn't find him. He'd be playing with Anastasia, just making her laugh. And she was all smiles after the surgery. That's what you do. You take a child from hopelessness to hope, from hurt to healing. That all happens when you give right now. We're asking you to do it if it's possible.
I get that it's an awkward time to ask for giving. And listen, when we came in today, we thought that having somebody be generous seemed next to impossible. But I'm going to be real. In the midst of impossible, that's kind of cool, right? Because that's when God shows up. When he hears that word, he's like, hold up. I'm sorry. What? Whoa. You said impossible? Let me just rub my hands together and just show you what I can do in lives like Anastasia's and so many more. These children may never know what it's like to be whole if it's not for generous people who are listening to the radio at the right time. Look, it's awkward to ask. It's awkward. Joy and I've been talking about this for like a week. We're like, what are we going to say? What are we going to do? And then we just get on here. We're just trying to be authentic. Right, Joy?
Yeah, because the need is real. $1,000 covers a whole surgery for a child. They pray over these babies before surgery. CJ and I've seen it. $39 a month heals a kid a month. A kid like Anastasia who deserves to walk and shouldn't have to wait because of quarantine and coronavirus to have that surgery.
Lastly, if you're listening to this right now, I gotta believe, or maybe you're watching this, doesn't coronavirus have us all in the defensive posture? We're all quarantined inside, held up, hanging on to what's ours, and we're thinking to ourselves, I just want to make sure nothing happens to me and mine. Instead of being in the defensive posture, what if you got on the offensive? And instead of trying to make sure nothing happened to you, you made sure something amazing happened to somebody else. And that's why we're knocking off the nonsense this week. And we're attempting to do the impossible, which is to raise the funds to heal these kids in the name of Jesus in the most unlikely week that I have ever heard of. WayFM.com to give, or you can call
855-33-WayFM.